afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Yvette. She looks like the usher lady today. I want to thank you for your presentation. I want to thank you for the courage of your presentation, to stand up and to invite us to likewise stand up, especially as women. And I love how you incorporated men as well. Today, for your evaluation on this speech, I think I'm going to do it in two sections. I'm going to talk about the content, and I'm going to talk about the delivery. The content, if I'm mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I thought you were going to cover 5 different areas. I only caught 4. Okay, then it was just 4. That was my mistake in the beginning. I did keep track of them, and you did talk about 4. The speech was obviously very well organized for the amount of time that you were assigned. It's always very important when we're putting together a long program to make sure, number 1, that we have enough material planned. Number 2, that we don't have too much material planned. For those of us who are just getting into doing these longer presentations, we're used to making our 3 points in a poem and we're done, right? Introduction, 3 points, but that really won't work unless you really are digging in on each of your 3 points or 2 points. But 4 points was just about right for what you, and it covered the things that you were the most passionate about in this subject. The content. The content was, first of all, very well researched. The other point about the content is that it was personal. Whenever we're speaking, when we can make things personal, the audience comes with us. Whether it's part of their common thread of their lives, the thing they have in common with us, or something they've never experienced themselves, to hear a personal story catches our attention and holds us. Many times I've been critiqued and evaluated on speeches. I want to hear your story about this point. I just want to tell you all the facts. I just want you to get the enormity of the problem or the expansiveness of the solution. No, I want to hear your story. So I'm trying to work on that in my own life. I appreciate especially in such a sensitive topic area, for you to offer your own personal experiences in this area with your own children. That's very personal, but at the same time, it's very effective for us because it's very real. And if there's anything we can say about content in our presentations, especially if we want to get paid, is that it has to be real. You can't just be spouting off something that you read or something that you think is important. It has to be real. Again, I feel like your presentation was very well organized. You took us through each one of those types of abuse and told us why we need to be concerned about it. Let's talk about presentation. You look great. You did not dress in a way that would be offensive, whatever you talked about. So you brought the usher lady with you, the sister of the church, and I think that's always fine. That always establishes credibility. When we look the part, that establishes credibility right away. Second of all, I felt like the one thing that I would change is with your visual aids to have them closer to you. Granted, the piano is at the exact best height. It was unobtrusive. It wasn't too high or too low where you had to bend over anything. But if they could have just been, and in the future, that's something that we all need to think about. As Toastmasters, we are taught you have to adapt to your environment. You're going to walk into places and you're not going to know if it's a room this large, is there amplification? Do I need amplification? If there's not, you better be ready to project. And the same is true if we can think forward. I might need a little table. I might need something to keep this seamless. Because I really felt like you worked the speaking area well. You spoke from one end. Matter of fact, next time, I don't even think I'm gonna pull these chairs to the middle, because obviously nobody wants to sit in them. But it's gonna be a big gaping hole in the middle, but it'll force us to work the wings, won't it? There's some things that we can think about here at POPs that we don't think about in our regular meetings. We don't know what the room's gonna look like, but we gotta work the room. And I feel like you did that today. So that's a kudo. Only thing is with your visual aids, which I thought was effective, and a lot of people would say, wait, I should have had them on PowerPoint. I'm not a big PowerPoint person. I think it can be distracting. I think it's very effective. Kim's is very effective. But if you're not very effective using it, either work on your skills or don't use it, because it can really take the emphasis off of you as a speaker. You are competing with that. You don't want to be competing, especially with your visual aids today. Now, some of them could have been a little more effective if they were blown up a bit. And these are things that we learn. We learn by doing. And I just appreciate the fact that you had them to make and emphasize your points. But second of all, I just would have had them a little bit closer so you continue to command the stage area. The only other thing I want to talk about your presentation is your confidence. I love the passion, absolutely love the passion. And I really believe the more you do speaking, the more public speaking you do, the more you practice, you will become even more confident, and you will become even smoother in your delivery. And you won't be thrown off when you're trying to remember something. That you will know your points, you will own it all. And another thing that happens, and I know this might have happened to you today because it's such a sensitive subject, you might have looked around the room and people were kind of fidgety or uncomfortable with your message, and that sometimes takes us aback because we don't want to offend our audience. We want to challenge our audience. This is another thing back to content. A plan of action might have been something I would want to hear. What can I do next? And this comes out of your own personal experience. So to conclude this evaluation, number one, you looked the part. Number two, your passion was immeasurable. Keep that passion in everything you talk about, because that's going to establish your credibility. It was well researched. I love the personal stories. The only issue would have been dealing with those visual aids a bit. And that just comes with time. You have to find your style. You have to find what works for you and for your audience. Thank you for your speech, and I look forward to the next time we get together.